The Toyota BZ4X. I guess naming a car is really hard work, probably almost as hard as picking a name for a baby. But it seems like someone at Toyota eventually got really frustrated when naming their first electric SUV and just slammed their keyboard and typed BZ4X. They then sat back and thought, hey, that's it, that's the name. And apparently everyone else at Toyota were like, yeah, okay, we agree, that sounds good. My name is Omar, and why did no one stand up at that meeting and say, are you guys seriously considering calling this the BZ4X? Obviously that didn't happen, and now we're here. So yeah, this is the BZ4X, and if you're wondering what that name stands for, BZ stands for Beyond Zero, 4 stands for the size of the vehicle because this is similar to the RAV4 in size, and X stands for SUV because that's how the rest of the automotive industry does it. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about this oddly named electric SUV. This is Toyota's first dedicated electric vehicle. Yes, Toyota is pretty late to the electric game, but better late than never, I guess. Honestly, I am surprised that it took them this long, but here's an interesting story for all of you. Back when Tesla was looking for its first factory to make the first allocation of the Tesla Model S, they purchased a GM Toyota plant in Fremont, California. Elon Musk got the plant, which was 10 times bigger than what Tesla needed, at a bargain price after meeting with Toyota's president, Akio Toyoda. At the time, Akio promised Elon that Toyota would be making a sizable investment in Tesla, which they did. And then I'm pretty sure you know how the story goes. Tesla then went on to take over the world and became the leader in electric cars, while Toyota stuck to making Prius and other hybrids. But eventually, Toyota formed its own unit to make electric vehicles in 2016. Well, it's now 2022 and here we are. So how is Toyota's first electric vehicle? Let's find out. But first, let me give you a tour of this vehicle that's named like Elon would name his child. We'll take a look at the outside, we'll take a look at the inside, we'll talk about the whole electric car part of it. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. All right, let's do this. All right, so let's kick it off by talking about the most important bits: the power, the range you get on a full charge, and the charging times. The BZ4X, I still can't get over the name, is going to be available as a front-wheel drive model or an all-wheel drive model. The front-wheel drive gets one motor making 201 horsepower and 196 pound-feet of torque. Now, unlike other EVs where the all-wheel drive model is significantly more powerful, the all-wheel drive BZ4X isn't too far off, making 214 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque. And I'm guessing the reason behind not making the all-wheel drive more powerful is so it doesn't step on the toes of the Lexus RZ450e. Keep in mind though that this Toyota electric vehicle with a bunch of letters is Subaru's sibling. The Solterra will only be available with all-wheel drive since, you know, Subarus are known to come standard with all-wheel drive. As for 0 to 60, there isn't a huge difference between the front wheel and the all-wheel drive. The front wheel will do it in 7 seconds, while the all-wheel drive will do it in 6.7 seconds. And that makes the BZ4X slower than the rivals like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6, and even the Volkswagen ID4. Alright, so let's talk about the range, the most important part. On a full charge, the BZ4X XLE front-wheel drive will get a total of 252 miles, while the XLE all-wheel drive will get 228 miles. If you end up getting a little fancier with the limited trim, your range will drop, but only slightly. The front-wheel drive limited gets 242 miles on a full charge, while the all-wheel drive limited gets 222 miles. Either way, those are not super out-of-the-park figures, but they aren't too far off from other EVs like the Volkswagen ID4 or the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. Alright, so let's talk about how long it'll take to charge this thing. Using a standard 6.6 kilowatt charger that comes with the BZ4X and charging at level 2 will take between 9 to 10 hours to go from 0 to 100%. Toyota says that a faster 11 kilowatt charger will be an option by the end of this year. Now, if you're out and about, the BZ4X will allow you to charge at 150 kilowatts, and going from 10 to 80% should take you around 30 to 45 minutes. Again, not as quick when it comes to charging as the Ioniq 5 and the EV6. Alright, let's take a seat inside this thing, and it's actually pretty comfortable, but a pretty simple place to be. Now, I wish Toyota got a little fancy with the interior like they did on the Sequoia and the Tundra, because the competition is really heating things up with the interiors of their electric vehicles. The BZ4X feels pretty much same old simple Toyota. Honestly, besides the 12.3-inch touchscreen display with the new infotainment system, it's pretty much as simple as it gets in here. You have a somewhat digital gauge cluster display, nothing too fancy here. By the way, I don't know if I'm missing something, but I haven't been able to find the battery percentage readout. You just see how many miles you have left, which is kind of refreshing since the decrease in percentage usually gets me all stressed out. Now, one thing that I thought was a bit strange was when you adjust the steering, the whole column moves up and down instead of just the steering. And when you set the position of the steering a little higher, you kind of end up covering the gauge cluster. I don't know why Toyota went this route, but once you do find the right position for you, you can see the gauge cluster, but not really all of it. The other strange thing that I've found in here is that you don't have a glove box. Apparently, Toyota wanted to create more legroom for the front passenger, so they thought you don't really need a glove box here. That said, I do like the fact that unlike most EVs, you have some physical buttons. Right here under the giant screen, you have your climate control with physical controls. Below that, on the center console, you have access to your drive modes, and this icon right here will activate your one-pedal drive. And of course, since real shifters are starting to die, you have this circular knob-styled gear selector. And then check this out, you have a cap for your wireless charging tray. I don't know why that is, but it's see-through and it has a cool little design, but yeah, you have a cap for your wireless charging tray. Other than that, quality-wise, it's pretty entry-level Toyota. In here, everything is well put together, but it's not the highest quality feeling. The dash on the XLE that I'm testing here is wrapped in fabric, and I'm curious to see how that holds up over the course of a few years. As for second row legroom in the BZ4X, you're working with a total of 35.3 inches back here. I'm about 6 foot tall, that's my seating position. As you can see, I still have plenty of room. It is actually surprisingly comfortable back here, considering these seats don't feel that very well cushioned or very plush. It is still pretty comfortable back here. Let's check out the cargo capacity. The XLE does not get a powered tailgate, the Limited does. So to pop the trunk, you just hold this button right here under the Toyota logo, and once you get it opened, you have 27.7 cubic feet behind the second row, and with the second row folded, you have 57 cubic feet, so not bad. Let's take a look at the exterior design of the BZ4X. That name, man, it's really gotta go. If Subaru can come up with the name for theirs, Toyota, I think you can too. That said, I don't think the overall exterior design of this is bad at all. It's one of the more stylish Toyota CUVs, SUVs, or whatever you want to call it. Size-wise, this is pretty close to the RAV4. It's a little bit longer than the RAV4 and a little bit shorter than the Mustang Mach-E. You've got a pretty solid mixture of cuts and very sharp character lines. The front end here looks pretty sleek. You have this body-colored eyelid right here above the headlamps. The rear end looks pretty solid. The only thing is this two-tone color combo. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but it's definitely different. And you can't get rid of it either. The only way to get a BZ4X that doesn't have that blacked out panel is to go for an all black one. Otherwise, every other color comes with that black panel. Pricing for the BZ4X XLE starts at $42,000, while the Limited starts at $44,080. Now, at that price tag, essentially everything is standard since there isn't much going on in here since this is a pretty simple EV. On the outside, the XLE comes standard with LED headlamps, while the Limited comes with multi-LED headlamps. Both get LED daytime running lights and both get LED taillights. The XLE gets standard 18-inch wheels while the Limited gets 20-inch wheels. They both get a powered tailgate, but the Limited gets the whole kick-to-open tailgate, and all BZ4X trims across the lineup get a panoramic glass roof that doesn't open, it's just fixed. Hop inside and you get fabric trim seats on the XLE and Softex trim seats on the Limited. To get heated front seats and a heated steering wheel on the XLE, you'll have to add on the weather package for $500. The Limited gets heated and ventilated front seats and a heated steering wheel all as standard, and the Limited also gets heated rear seats as an option. All BZ4X trims get dual zone climate control as standard. Now, in terms of tech, all models of the BZ4X come standard with a 12.3-inch touchscreen display. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. However, navigation is optional. A wireless charger is standard across the lineup, and if you want a 9-speaker JBL sound system, you'll have to go for the Limited, and even then, it's optional on the Limited. Safety and driver assist tech-wise, everything is standard across the lineup. You get adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, road sign recognition, a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection. And as for the camera game, the XLE only comes with a rear view camera, while the Limited gets the whole full bird's eye view camera. Now, before I give you my opinion on how it is to drive the BZ4X, let me point out a few important daily usability features that I'd love to show all of you. You have 4 cup holders, 2 in the front right there. You've got some bottle holders, but they don't count as cup holders. And then you have 2 in the back in the center armrest, along with what looks like a place to put your pens and stuff. Here are what the keys look like to the BZ4X. Nothing too exciting. The Limited trim does get the digital key, so if you want that credit card key, go for the Limited. Door open and close sound from the outside. And from the inside, pretty Toyota-ish. Charging game-wise, you're working with a USB-A port right there and a wireless charger right here, which is standard, again, on every trim. Front passengers also get 2 USB-C ports right here. Pretty cool. And then rear passengers also get 2 USB-C ports. Good for them. It is now time for an indicator and horn sound test, this time with the Toyota BZ4X. Indicator first. Same old Toyota indicator. Now for the horn sound, lower the window a little bit. I don't know what I'm expecting here. I haven't honked it yet, so let's take a listen. Oh, yeah. That's pretty Toyota Corolla-ish. Nothing that exciting. So I don't know if I mentioned this already, but Toyota made the BZ4X in a joint partnership with Subaru. Subaru's version is called Solterra, which means sun and earth. So thank you, Subaru, for actually putting effort into naming your electric SUV. But yeah, unlike the Toyota-Subaru partnership around the BRZ and the 8.6 where Subaru handles most of the work, the manufacturing and the work around this is mostly all Toyota. So how does the BZ4X drive? It drives like a pretty basic SUV. There's nothing too exciting about it. Let me just hit the accelerator while I'm going 54. That was a little fun, but there's no big jolt that comes and knocks you back into your seat. It's comfortable, it's pretty well balanced. The chassis feels very cooperative when you're going over bumps and imperfections on the road. Let's just say it's as exciting to drive as the RAV4, but it is definitely much smoother. So if you're looking for a RAV4 that's quieter, smoother, and has a little bit of a kick to it, you might want to get this. Of course, electric cars deliver power in a very smooth and seamless manner, so bringing this kind of power delivery to a Toyota SUV is something that feels really nice. Let's do a standing acceleration test. Yeah, it's cool, but it really didn't put a smile on my face. And that's the thing about the BZ4X. Like other Toyota SUVs, it's not particularly more exciting to drive than the competition. Toyota's compact SUVs are a little bit more reserved and more concerned with safety, ride quality, and quality. You have to understand, the BZ4X and the Subaru Solterra are from two brands that don't particularly do sport. When Toyota and Subaru do have time to do anything sporty, they team up with other brands and create things like the Toyota Supra, or even they team up with each other and create the BRZ and the 8.6. In fact, I think the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6 have slightly more fun driving dynamics than the Solterra and the BZ4X. You also have the Mustang Mach-E and the Volkswagen ID.4, again, both of which feel a little bit more exciting to drive than this. But I will say that I feel like this is a bit more comfortable than the competition. Yes, it might not be as exciting, but as a daily driver, it feels very well balanced. The suspension feels very, very comfortable, and the power delivery feels a little bit more calibrated, but it could be the fact that it's just slower than the competition. It doesn't have much excitement to give you. That said, if you're looking for a simple EV with good quality to get you from point A to point B, this might not be a bad option. But if you're looking for a little bit more excitement, a flashier interior, you might want to check out the Ioniq 5 and the EV6. Those are two of my favorite mass-produced EVs out right now. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace. Let's go. Yeah, see? Didn't do anything for me. It didn't even push me back that time. Just a comfortable EV that's affordably priced.